RadNet, a stronger and more connected community. It's a vision for a better future.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's late night. It's a Saturday night, and I'm here to hang with you guys. Just me alone. We haven't done this in a while where it's just us chatting away. I'll get the chat involved. But I really wanted to talk about this. It was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's a week too late. It's a week removed from attending Silver Scream Con, which I had an absolute blast, and I want to kind of talk about it, just the pros, the cons, no pun intended. And just kind of the evolution of this convention and what you get and how it's super nostalgic for people like myself and others that live in that like Northeast Massachusetts area. And we'll kind of get into all that. I'll showcase some of the stuff I did. I'll tell stories. I'll chat about the weekend. I'll interact with you guys. Talk about things that I would have done different next year and a whole thing. So I'll be here a little while. So this is kind of more of a chill stream. We'll go back and forth, showcase some of the stuff I picked up and whatnot. So guys, I'm gonna see who's in the chat now. But let me see. I see people hopping in. Fight the Good Fights here. He says, first, what's up, man? How are you? Late night, a good night. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a while since I came on late with you guys all alone. What up, Vanderhoff? He says, great video this morning too. Thank you so much. It seems like a lot of people are liking that one. If you guys haven't checked it out, I did drop a video this morning talking about my top 10 favorite made-for-TV horror movies, which is a subgenre of horror that I feel like is a little overlooked now because of streaming and stuff. So we get a lot of stuff like, Netflix exclusive, Shudder exclusives. But back in the day, 70s, 80s, stuff like that, there was movies that were basically horror movies that were made specifically for television. And a lot of those movies are really eerie, really creepy. And the fun thing about them is because they were made for TV, a lot of the times, they pushed the limits on what you could see on TV, but they were able to make scary movies without having to rely so much on heavy gore and stuff like that you would see, in the theater for R-rated movies. And man, there's a lot of good ones out there. And I only could pick 10. Obviously, I could have put more on that list. Maybe I'll do a part 2 if people really like it. But it seems like right now, people are really digging it. There's like a lot of people checking that video out. So I appreciate everybody who has. And if you haven't, maybe when this is over, you go check it out. But yeah, thank you for everybody who checked it out this morning. It's been kind of busy over here, all things considered, because I do feel like I have kind of been lacking on the content. Maybe because I usually do this on a Tuesday night. I didn't. But yeah, like I was at Silver Scream last weekend, and that kind of took over my whole weekend. And then I had to work Monday morning, which I usually don't have to work that early. So therefore, Sunday night I didn't do anything that night. So Tuesday, I started a brand new series with Uncle Bill from Dead Pit, and we're going over the 100 scariest movie moments from Bravo's 2004 list. If you guys remember, that was such a huge time in horror when Bravo put out that 100 scariest movie moments. And last year, Uncle Bill and I did a review and recap of Shudder's 101 scariest movie moments. And this month, we're starting the new series for Bravo, and this is gonna be a 6-week series. We did week 1, and episode 2 actually is tomorrow night. So if you guys want to come back in the channel and hit those notification buttons and whatnot to be here for episode 2. If you haven't checked out episode 1, you can check it out before tomorrow, and we talk about the first 15 movies on the list and give our opinions on them. And then Thursday night, I did Rad Company. I brought back Rad Company. I'm still working on this season, so all the guests that are booked, thank you guys so much, because I've kind of been slacking a little bit on it just with other things going on. So really cool to see some of these guests still, be like, yeah, let's do it. And I had Jay from Sludge Central on, who's again an OG in the space of, blogging when it comes to retro stuff and horror. And, he's part of a fantastic podcast called the Purple Stuff Podcast. And it's one of my favorite podcasts out there. And, I've known Jay for a while. We've hung out outside of, in person, outside of YouTube. He's a busy guy, but it was very cool to have him on because the dudes at Purple Stuff Podcast rarely do any interviews and stuff like that and do shows and whatnot. So it was really cool that he came on. So guys, I've had a lot of great feedback about that episode. So definitely go check that one out as well. Great conversation. Two East Coast dudes talking about horror and retro stuff. So pretty damn cool. But let me continue with this chat before I get into tonight's topic. B Maga, what's up, man? How are you? A Dub, what's going on? Ragnar, what up, man? What up? What up? What up? I'm doing great, Adrian. Adrian, thank you for being here. Gora Tiger. What up, Grievous? Thanks. This is actually something I picked up at the con. Look at how cool. How could I pass this up? How could I pass this up? Silver Scream Con 3 in the Silver Shamrocks logo. It's got some stuff on the sleeves. Very, very cool. This thing is sweet. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I need that. It wasn't cheap though. I'll tell you that much. This was not cheap at all. So, but it's one of those things where this is only going to be available, at this con or for a short time, because after this weekend or last weekend, they're moving on to Silver Scream 4. So this was definitely something I wanted to grab just, because it is limited and it was such a cool experience that I want to talk about. Thank you, man. What up, dude? Yeah, man, we're back, baby. What's up, Prince? As for Made for TV, Baywatch finally made some decent horror episodes. There was so much shows back in the day that were doing great horror related stuff. Even talking about sitcoms and whatnot. So there was so much stuff, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really talk about when it came to like kid friendly horror, because there are some stuff I'm working on right now that's going to talk about a little bit more about that. So I didn't get into things like that, like Watcher in the Woods and Sleepy Hollow and all this other stuff. So definitely keep your eye on that, because there is more stuff coming. It's going to talk a little bit about that as well. I actually did not check out the trailer. I'm kind of afraid to, because I am excited about the movie because I just love Salem's Lot so much. And I'm not even one of those people that hated the Rob Lowe one. Like, I actually thought it was fine. But you're saying it looks good. I've heard kind of two things. I've heard other people say, it actually looks good. They don't understand why this is not getting a theatrical release. And then I've heard other people say, oh, I can tell why it's not. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I'm going to say this. I'm excited and I will watch it. So trailer or not, I'm going to watch it regardless. Stone, what's up, man? Thanks for being here, dude. Yeah, man, Kim Darby was good and Don't Be Afraid of Dark TV movie as she was the curse mother of Halloween 6. Correct. Gus, what's up, dude? How are you, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Who had the longest line at Silver Scream? To be honest, let me just think. I wasn't there Sunday, so I can't say that. But if I was to say on Saturday, it's wild. I don't know. I mean, the longest line that I stood in was Eli Roth, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I'll tell you right now, Spencer, the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills, had a pretty long line all day. He could be the one, to be honest. If not, maybe David Arquette, perhaps, could have had the longest line. Damien Leone's line was pretty long. David Owen Thornton's line was pretty long. But I would probably, man, I don't know. I'm thinking that back aisle is the long one. I'm thinking, I don't know. It could have been Spencer, maybe, which is crazy to think about, right? Just based on what it is. But I mean, these guys are pretty damn popular right now. I got it. I got the Arthur Cloud popcorn bucket. Yes. Roseanne and Home Improvement are the two that always stick out to me. Highway to Heaven did sick. Bad Ronald, was that it? I'm going to watch that one from your countdown. Yeah, Bad Ronald is cool, man. It's a cool movie. I'm actually thinking about getting the Blu-ray because I don't know if anybody's going to put that out. I hope they do, but the DVD I have is like, it's a Warner Archive one. I mean, Blu-ray is a Warner Archive, but the DVD is not even in HD, so that kind of stinks. But I'm probably going to end up upgrading it. But yeah, let's talk about Silver Scream Con. I'm gonna try to, remember everything. But first and foremost, it is a convention, horror convention that's actually run and put on by Spencer and Ice Nine Kills. Obviously, I know him and some of the band. I mean, his band has they started in Massachusetts because they're from the area. I think they're from Worcester, exactly. And they were just a regular old band trying to kind of find their way. I mean, they if you listen to their old stuff, it's very different than their new stuff. And then all of a sudden they came out with I'm trying to think how it all worked. The first time I heard Ice Nine Kills was from a song called Jonathan, um, which it was a pretty emotional song, and I was like, wow, this is pretty emotional song here, and that kind of turned me on to that band. But at the time, they weren't really doing what they're doing now, and I heard an acoustic version, and then I looked it up, and I was looking up more stuff, and then they had like a heavier version on an album, and then I ended up getting an album. I don't remember the exact name of it now, but it had like one of my favorite songs by them, Jekyll and Hyde, and then it had one about Exorcist and Horror in the Hallways. They had about Carrie, and I started to see that these guys were doing a lot of horror movie related stuff. And that album to me was a really cool album. A lot of good songs on that album. And then the next album, the follow up, was really where they kind of went full force into the horror stuff, and it was Silver Scream. And it was a fantastic album, and that was where they really started focusing on like every song was going to have a horror movie theme of it, right? So every song they did was going to be based on a movie, where they had some of that on their older album, but not the full blown, full board on that. And it was a great album, cool album. They came out with like a extended version with like a Scream song, and then they followed up with their newer album, Welcome to Horrorwood, which is, I think, better than Silver Scream, the album. And I think Welcome to Horrorwood is their best stuff so far. Now, where they go from here, I don't know. I personally love it. I know a lot of people, kind of like, oh, it's all a gimmick or a shtick or whatever. Sure. But I mean, at the same time, it's catchy, it's heavy. And I'm like, these are the two things that I look for in bands. And I always have. I mean, I was heavily in the hardcore scene as a kid. So obviously I like the heavy stuff, and it all kind of went from there. And I love big choruses and catchy stuff, like big fan of 80s hair bands, right? So I love, catchy hooks and whatnot. So that this kind of music that's doing that nowadays, like, it just works for me. And adding the horror element to me is it fits what I enjoy. So I'm cool with it. Now, where they go from here, I don't know. But I think they're at a point now where no matter what they do, I think it's going to work. If they decide to kind of not do the same old thing again and kind of do their own songs, but make them almost like, if you think of, I don't know if anybody's a fan of Queensryche, but they had an album, Operation Mindcrime, where like every song basically was built off the next one. They were telling a story, and they could easily do that and kind of make their own movie, in the album, right? Like every song goes to the next one. Like they could kind of do anything at this point. I think that they're there if they decide they want to go a little bit more with original content when it comes to just the topics at hand. But anyway, great band there. They put on the show. The first 2 years was in a hotel in Danvers, and it was fine. It was okay. It was small, very small show. But they announced Silver Scream 3. And the biggest thing about that is a bigger, badder, gorier, or something like that was like the slogan. And what was crazy is that for years in my area, every October there was a convention called Rock and Shock. And to be honest, Spencer, the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills, was always there. First, he was there as a vendor for his like clothing brand. Then his band would play like at night. This was like when that album with, like Carrie and all that, and Jekyll and Hyde, that was out. So like they haven't even, broke through yet at that point. And they would open up for people like the Misfits or Motionless in White. ICP was always heavily involved somewhere at Rock and Shock. So what the convention was it was a horror convention during the day, and then at night it was music, because it's connected to a venue. and we used to do horror stuff during the day. We'd get the autographs, we'd get memorabilia, and meet up with friends and get merch, go to dinner, go to lunch, whatever. And then at night, after the convention closed, we'd all go to the venue and watch the bands play. And it was just part of um, it was embedded in this area's October. Horror fans, metal fans, like that was every October. It was like Rock and Shock and Halloween. Those are the two big things everybody was excited for every year. And I mean, I had such great experiences at Rock and Shock. I mean, it was like really, I think it could have been the first convention I ever attended, I think. And, going in for the first time and seeing all these celebrities and all these movies all over tables and merch. And it was mind blowing to me. And this was in the mid 2000s. And, I met Corey Haim there, which is huge. I met, a lot of these big stars, Robert Englund, George Romero, David Hess, like all people that aren't even around anymore. It was such a great time. Like when I remember going in there, I think the first show I went to, it was right when Rob Zombie's Halloween came out. So that was kind of the big draw at the time was the cast from that. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, amazing time. Every year we did it for years and years and years. And then in 2020, they announced that they were going to close and they weren't going to do it anymore. And, you could kind of tell as the years went on, like it wasn't evolving. It started to feel very the same. Like every vendor was the same in the same spot. A lot of repeated guests, which again are fine. But for someone that was going there for so long, like sometimes I would go in and be like, I don't really need to come back on Saturday. I've kind of walked through, I got everything I want and I'm good. Unless there was like a real good act I wanted to see on Saturday night, maybe I'd just go on Saturday and not go on Friday. But anyway, it was a bummer. It was a big bummer when they left because that kind of ruined everybody's like Halloween tradition, right? So fast forward 4 years later, 5 years later, and Spencer announces that he's going to do Silver Scream exactly where Rock and Shock was. So, and on top of that, they were going to do the music at night. So it was like basically the same concept as what we had. They're just going to kind of brand it on their own and run with it. And man, it was such a cool feeling to be back in that building. And my life has changed since the last time I've been to that building. And a lot of it has to do with what's going on here. A lot of it is that I have a platform now that I do this stuff. I mean, before when this was going on at places like Rock and Shock, I was just a collector and a fan. And, going to tables and doing this, doing that. I had known some people because I would talk to them on the internet, blah, blah, blah. Like the people from Fright Rags and all of this stuff. But now going back and having this brand or this platform and it being able to interact with a lot of people, that watch the show and, that I talk to on Instagram and whatnot. It was a very different experience for me. I went Friday, I went by myself. I was supposed to go with some people and they ended up bailing at the last second. So I went by myself and I said, I'm going to use tonight to just get things done, like business, like in the sense that I knew I wanted to meet Eli Roth. I'm like, his line's going to be crazy. Saturday's sold out. I'm going to get this done tonight because I'm not, I don't have a friend with me or whatnot. So I'm just going to get there, do that. And that was the big one. Oh, and I wanted to meet Sean Cunningham. So those were the two things I wanted to do on Friday. So I was like, no matter what, I want to get those two done tonight. So I don't have to deal with it tomorrow. I can like walk the floor. I can buy merch. I can hang out with people because I had people messaging me saying, hey, I hope to see you at Silver Scream. I'm going to be there. I said, yeah, if you see me, come say what's up. So I knew there was going to be people there. Dave Durant was going to be there. The Steelbook crew is going to be there. My buddies at PVD Horror were going to be there. So I just knew I was going to be pretty busy on Saturday, just interacting and mingling. So I wanted to get the big wigs done now. So that's what I did on Friday night. I went, got in line, met Eli Roth. Now I talk about the story with Eli on my show with Uncle Bill that we just did the other night on the Bravo's 100 Scary Movie Moments. I can get into it again here. I can give you a shorter version. If you want to know the full length version, you can go to that show and listen to it. But I don't want to repeat the whole thing in case people here have already heard it. But, I went up to Eli Roth and he couldn't have been nicer. Again, I'm an Eli Roth fan. So that's why I wanted to get his auto and why I wanted to talk to him and get a picture. Like, I'm a fan of Eli Roth. I just am. There's certain movies that he's done that I don't care for, like Green Inferno. I'll never watch again. But Hostel is one of those movies that I'm like, I need to go back to it because I liked it when it first came out, and I haven't watched it in a very, very long time. And I feel like I don't know if I would like it anymore. Like, it just doesn't feel like the type of movie that I would be into anymore. So I'd have to check it out and see. But that's kind of on my October list, is to rewatch the Hostel movie. I did do an Eli Roth ranking a couple months, probably maybe a year ago, actually. So it's probably all on there. I love Cabin Fever. I love Knock Knock. Like, I love Thanksgiving. So, I mean, there was a lot of stuff of his that I enjoy. So I had a Thanksgiving one sheet poster, which, I was kind of annoyed with myself because I felt like I wasn't really prepared. I really should have gotten a Cabin Fever one sheet before the show and had that signed. But at the same time, now that it's done, I'm kind of fine with what I did because I had the Thanksgiving one sheet, brought it, rolled it out on his table. He's like, "Oh, cool, man. You got an original one sheet?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I liked it, blah, blah, blah." We were chatting a little bit. I said, "Oh, you're back home?" Because Eli's from Massachusetts as well. And he's like, "Yeah." And his signature is very odd. It's like, and I said, "Hey, listen, like, I don't think I'm going to get anybody else on this poster. So feel free to like use whatever room you want. I would rather have him go a little bigger than be super small on a huge poster." So I was like, "Yeah, you can use anywhere over here." So he made his signature pretty big. And then he started coloring it in. And then he added blood to like the carver, like on the picture. He started putting blood on the axe and making it drip down. So it is what it is. He kind of made it like he drew on it basically, which again, it looks fine. It's fine. But now that I see what his signature looks like, I'm glad I didn't have Cabin Fever because it's just a very big and weird signature that I just don't know if it would look as cool on the Cabin Fever poster as it does on this one. So I don't know. I'm kind of fine with what happened there. But in the process of it, I had mentioned, Dead Pit, because him and Dead Pit have had this weird kind of relationship since they started where, they've always wanted to interview him. And, then they would always shit on his movies, but they wanted to talk to him about it. And, they'd love to get him on the show. And then they kind of played it off like they were going to tell him how bad his movies were and whatnot. And, it never worked out. They interviewed the best of the best, everybody. I mean, they have a boatload of list of interviews that they were doing with a lot of these people, but Eli was kind of like their white whale because, he got pretty popular in the industry and they never could do it. So the gimmick or the bit has been to tease Eli Roth, try to get him to come on the show, email him about it. Anyway, so I mentioned to him, I said, "Hey, I'm friends with the guys over at Dead Pit. I do shows with them sometimes." I said, they would really love you to be on the show. And he's like, I was like, "They've been trying since 2006. He's like, "They haven't tried hard enough." And he's like, "I saw him a couple months ago, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And so right there, he knew who they were, which was funny. And I said, "Yeah," I said, "You should go on." And he's like, and he looks at me and he kind of looked like he was frustrated. He's like, "Why do they want me to go on? They hate my guts." I was like, "No, they don't really hate your guts, man. Like it's just kind of like a bit, like a work." And anyway, long story short, we took a picture and I said, "Hey, the guys at Dead Pit would shit if they saw you holding their card." Cause we have cards. Like we have like a postcard that we put places and I have people that will pass them out at conventions and whatnot. And one side's my logo and the other side's their logo. So I said, "You should hold this Dead Pit card. I'll hold mine. You hold the Dead Pit one." They'd shit if they saw you doing it. And he's like, "I'm not going to hold that. I'm not holding that." Then at that point, I didn't know if he was pissed or not. Like, I thought maybe he was aggravated with me. He's like, "You can hold it. I'm not holding it." I'm like, "All right." So I took the picture. And then afterwards, he shook my hand. And as I was walking away, he looked at me and he's like, "Maybe we'll touch base for Thanksgiving too." And kind of smirked. So I think at that point, maybe he kind of understood that I wasn't being an asshole. Like, I was really being honest with him. But anyway, I thought it was fine experience. I mean, I actually got to talk to him more than I'd usually talk to most guests because it's usually kind of like, all right, there's people waiting in and out, like he actually gave the time of day to chat, which was nice. And he didn't have to do that. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I got that done. I don't have it here to showcase. I've already got it framed. And then I met Sean Cunningham, who couldn't have been nicer. He was such a nice guy. I did not get a picture with him. I kind of wish I did, but it was going to be extra. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay any extra right now. But I had a limited edition, like original art screen print of Friday the 13th, limited to 50 in the world. So it's pretty freaking rare of a print. And it's signed by Kevin Bacon. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to get everybody's signature on it, but I'll get Cunningham on there. And he signed it in red. It looks freaking awesome. And it's funny because after he signed his autograph, he's like, "Oh, do you want me to put the today's date on it?" And he's like starting to write. I'm like, "No, no, no, no! Don't do anything else. Leave it just like that." And he's like, "You don't want anything else?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no," because it's just such a great looking print that I didn't want anything else on it. Just the straight auto. Now I've got Cunningham, Kevin Bacon on this very limited, beautiful print, and it's framed up in my movie room over there, and it looks great. So I don't have that to showcase either, but he was fantastic. He was such a nice guy. And then I'm trying to think how when I was walking around, and then I started having people come up to me, which is cool. I mean, it is. I wish I could remember everybody's name. I don't, and I apologize. So if anybody is in the chat, or if anybody's watching this on the replay and say, "Hey, I saw you, and we said hi, and we shook hands," or whatever it is, just tell me, because sometimes it's hard to remember when I don't know faces with names, and then some people's YouTube names are different than their Instagram names, so it's like it sometimes gets confusing. I did know I met with Horror Man Joe, who's on Instagram, and he goes to all these conventions. So I was planning on meeting up with him because we had chatted beforehand. And really nice guy, cool dude. Met him for the first time, and we took a picture and whatnot. So very, very cool. And Joe, thank you for coming up to me. And it was cool, man. And a couple other people came up on Friday. And the reason I remember, and the reason I know that is because I wasn't wearing a headband or anything on Friday. So, like, if I see the pictures that people are tagging me in and I don't have the headband, I know that was Friday. And then what was happening was people were like, "Oh, are you here tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, you should wear the headband so I can get another picture with you with it on." And I was like, "All right, I'll wear the headband." So then that's how I know it was day two, is I had the headband on. And the reason I did it is because people were asking about it. Um, but then I remember, like, I saw Zombie Duran there. So I talked to him for a second, and then the Steelbook crew was there. I talked to them. I met up with who else? Alex at I met up with Alex over at Broke Horror Fan. We chatted for a little bit. Um, Chris McGibbon was there, chatted with him a bit. He was working at a booth, so I didn't spend a lot of time with him. We walked around a little bit. And then and then I was like, all right, Scout's got nobody over at the table right now. Like, I gotta go see Scout. Now, the last time I saw Scout was at Panic Fest about a little over a year ago, and it was one of those moments where it's like I didn't know what to say, right? Like, I got tongue tied trying to talk to this chick, and so I saw her again. I'm like, all right. So I was wearing a Scout Taylor Compton shirt, so I was like, all right, this is gonna be, and it's from her site too, so it's like a legit. So I was like, all right, this is gonna be my in now to chat with her or whatever. So I started to walk over a table, and there was a woman that was kind of helping her with her table and stuff, and she saw me from a distance, and she comes over. She's like, "Oh my god, she's gonna shit when she sees that shirt." And I was like, "Good, that's what I want." So I went over, and she's like, "Oh my god, like, you have the shirt, blah blah." And so I said to her, I said, "Yeah, you said you put out the hat, remember?" And I commented underneath, and I said, "Oh my god, you should do a shirt with this logo on it." And she said, "Oh yeah, that was you, and that's why, you know." And I was like, "That's why you did the shirts." She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So she took a video of us, like a little, I don't know, boomerang or whatever, and posted it on her Instagram. So which is pretty cool. And I chatted with her for a little bit, actually, about, you know, she's directing now, so we talked a little bit about that. She's actually got a couple things in the works right now. Her current movie that she's working on, that she's almost done, is not a horror movie, but she is going to do a horror movie. And she's actually doing a movie with Danielle, and they're gonna I don't know if I got this right. I think it's a horror movie with Danielle where they're gonna play like lovers or something. So I don't know if that's like exclusive news or not, but I'm pretty sure that's how she said it. Which again is cool. So I chatted with her a little bit, and that was kind of it on Friday. And then Saturday, I ended up going back. So let me go back to the chat because I don't want you guys to just listen to me ramble the whole time, but I want you guys to feel involved. But that was kind of day one for me. And again, I want to use these to tell stories. I want to use these to talk about the con, but I don't want you guys to feel like I'm ignoring the chat. Horror Wombat, what's up, man? Yeah, I would love. I've been lucky enough to meet both of them, but if they did like a cool like reanimator photo op or whatever, I would be down for that. Ragnar Skippy is going to be at Chiller Theater. We didn't have that trick. Oh, Slippy is going to be at Chiller Theater. Too bad we didn't have that trick or treat. Oh, Skippy. Oh, from Trick or Treat. Yeah, I just saw that was announced. I know, but it's I don't know. I was told over the last few days that I can't count it completely out by Halloween, but I know it's moving, like it's in like its final processes. But I mean, unless the pre-order is like one day and then they ship it, I don't really know. Highly at this point, I don't see it coming before Halloween, but I was also told that there's still a small percent chance that it could. I don't know. Yeah, so I can talk about that too because I did buy that on Friday. So what's cool about this and what was cool about this is it's not really like it's kind of the promo. Sometimes you go to convention, they'll have like a little flyer or something to tell you about the convention, like a little, what do you call those little promo books or whatever. But they had an exclusive Fangoria magazine. Now it's an actual magazine. They talk about a lot of guests that are going to be in there in their movies and stuff. But this was an exclusive magazine with Spencer on the front for Silver Screen Con. So it's a legit magazine. I mean, it's not, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not as thick as the regular magazines that you get now, but it's the same thickness as like the one you got in that Paramount Scares. It feels about as thick as like an older Fangoria magazine, but I mean, I had to get this. I mean, the Fangoria stuff is always valuable. And to have anything exclusive is huge. Now, I would say keep your eyes on like Ice Nine Kills or follow Silver Scream Con on Instagram because I'm thinking if there's any of these left, they might throw them on the site in like a couple weeks. I don't know if there was any left. And on the back it says Silver Scream Con. It's got the bands that played on there, and it's got the sponsors. But yeah, I mean it's a full thing. It's got a lot of Terrifier stuff in here. I don't want to show it. It's a lot of gore. Talk about all different things here. There's ads, there's articles. So again, it's a very, very cool little exclusive thing they had. So I definitely wanted to get that, because I love collecting Fangorias and it was not expensive. So I was like, forget it, I'm going to get this. And I ended up getting another one for my buddy Justin, Mr. Movie Watch Daily, Mr. Justin David Talks. He's a big Fangoria collector. So I messaged him and said, hey, man, do you want me to get you one? And he was like, yeah, definitely. So I snagged him one as well. But yeah, it was cool. It was definitely something cool than your normal like thing that you'd get if you walk in. What up, Griff? Wanted to go to Silver Screen, but I'm headed to Terracon in Rhode Island, November. Yeah, I'll be at Rhode Island Comic Con 100%. Terracon, I'm on the fence about. Dave Durant asked me if I was going, and he said he was going to go one day, and I said just shoot me a text when you go. Terracon's not far from me, so I can probably just decide that day. So if I may swing by on Saturday or Sunday, I don't know. But it's a possibility. I mean, there's nobody there I'd really want to meet. I mean, I've met everyone there that I'd want to meet. but it would be cool just to kind of walk around, I guess. I have not seen Violent Nature yet. No, I want to see it though. Um, let me see. I'm not a fan of the Paramount scare sets. I honestly would not. I, I don't. I don't want. I bought the first one, and when I bought it, I actually said the only reason I was getting it was because I wanted that Fangoria magazine. That was number one. Number two was if the line failed, then at least I could have a one of one. Like, hey, this is something they tried, it didn't work. But I have it as a collectible piece. Now, when I got it, I was just like, it's just not my thing. It's too big. It's hard to display. It's hard to store. Um, the movies inside. I'm not a fan of those slip covers with the way they're designed. Um, the movies in there were just kind of random. A lot of them I owned already. Um, the ones that I didn't own, I didn't really care for. So I just was not impressed with the first one at all. So when the second one was announced, and it was basically the same idea, the only thing that I was excited for was the Fangoria magazine. I would have been like, I would like to have that Fangoria, but not for that price. I don't think the price is bad. I actually think it's priced really well for what you're getting. I just don't need it. I just don't need them. And Friday the 13th 2 is not going to be enough to get me to pull the trigger on that because we all know that it's going to come out on its own. Like every other one in the first scares did. That was supposedly not going to happen. Like what's his name? Sweeney Todd. It was, it's exclusive to this set. No, it came out. It came out. So I'm not it's just not for me. It's a cool concept, but I just don't like the way it's done. I mean, I understand if you want the Fangoria in there, you need to have a box to house it. I get it. But like I said, I don't like the choice of movies. I don't like the slip cover situation. It's priced fine. If you don't have the movies, get it. By all means, get it. But I've got it all. So it's just going to take up needless space. So I'm passing. I'm not going to get the new one. Let me see. What up, Horror Wombat? Silver Scream 2 is better. So you're saying that's the Horrorwood, right? Silver Scream. It's called Silver Scream 2. Welcome to Horrorwood. Yeah. It just feels like it took. It feels like they continue to evolve. That's what it feels like as a band. Like it feels more polished than that one. BMAG, I did not get the set. I love the movies. For a while I was collecting everything Slumber Party Massacre because it was such a crazy movie back in the DVD days. They were very valuable releases. Like over here I don't know what company put them out. I forget what the company was called, but like I've got all the Slumber Party Massacres. I've got all the Sorority House Massacres. I've got the spin-off ones. I've got Hard to Kill. I've got Cheerleader Massacre. Like Concord put them out. I can see them from here. Then I got the exclusive Shout Factory collection. It came with like a pillowcase. I mean, I got, the ones from Scream Factory. Like I was really heavily into those movies, but it doesn't have part 3. Like why? If it had part 3, I would have bought it 100%. But I don't need it. I'm not going to get a box set with just 1 and 2. It's just nah. Yeah, so on Sunday, I guess they announced that they were going to write the theme song for Terrifier 3. Yeah. I wasn't there to see the announcement, but I heard about it. But that's cool, man. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's so funny when you kind of look at how everything's rolling and it's like it's good. I guess it's good and bad. I mean, there's if you look at like Rob Zombie's work, right? Rob Zombie always had that circle of people that he would put in his movies, that circle of people around him, some of those actors and stuff. And when you look at the Terrifier series in the franchise, you start to see that like all these people are intertwining, right? Like it's the same people at the conventions that are doing the stuff. So like the whole Terrifier cast was there. this weekend. You know, Spencer put on the event. I mean, people are intertwined. You know, Spider One and is friendly with, and Chrissy Fox are friendly with Scout, and Scout's really close with Spencer, and you know, it's just everybody now. Chrissy Fox is in Terrifier 3. Like everybody's just intertwined together now. Like, and it's like a new kind of, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, it's like a new crew in the genre, and Terrifier is kind of like that center. And you know, they're all kind of working together and stuff. So it's interesting for sure. I'm excited to see it. Excited to hear it. What up, Toy Talk guys? You're the man. Yeah, where'd you get the Vanilla Mike ads? Where the Vanilla Ice mask is unfortunately sitting on a stand right here on the floor in front of me. I love that thing, and I need to find a better spot for it. I just don't have a lot of space that it would fit. That's the only thing. But I do want to do more content with it. I've decided I want to do more content with the mask on. Even it's just like some reels or something, but I want to do some stuff with it. I've got an American flag leather jacket. I've got Zuba pants. I mean, I can make something work, but I think it would be something different out there. So I'm thinking about some ideas. Maybe do my ninja rap dance or whatnot. But he's down there. He'll make appearances soon. But thank you, man. And go check out Toy Talk guys over there. Well, Super It Boy or Super IT Boy, you're going to have to go look at my rankings. I did rankings for Elm Street just 2 weeks ago, and I've done a ranking for Friday the 13th. So go check out those videos, and you'll get that answer. Well, I just talked about it's not a Halloween 3 hoodie. This is actually the hoodie for Silver Scream Con 3. So that's what we're talking about tonight, and this is the convention hoodie with that logo on it. So it is pretty sick. What's up, Nick? You know, I wish. I'm not good at that. You would think that I would be, all things considered. Like, you would think that like a dream of mine would be to, you know, have a house to decorate, and it kind of is. But I'm just always so nervous because to get my stuff ruined, or if I spend all this money on decorations and then it gets trashed, like it'd be such a bummer for me that I usually just don't do it, which kind of sucks. Maybe as the years go on, I will start to do some stuff, but as of right now, it's very minimal out there. Like, we'll do jack-o'-lanterns and some little things here and there, but nothing huge. I mean, I have a huge yard that's visible on Halloween that I could have tons of stuff in the yard, and, you know, animatronics and all this other stuff. I think I did see Adam Green's band. I mean, I saw Adam Green there a lot. And I think I don't think I missed a Rock and Shock ever, so I had to have seen it. Thank you, Fight the Good Fight. I always forget. So a couple things, guys. You can smash the like button. That's free. That helps support the channel. If you're not subscribed, you can subscribe to the channel. If you end up not liking the channel, you can unsubscribe. But do it so you get notified every time I go on to put a new video up. So you can do that if you're not currently subscribed. Like I said, there's like 4 videos this week, including with this one. I think there's 4. So there's a lot of content to watch. We do have channel memberships. If you want to just support the channel in a little bit bigger of a way, you can do that. Those are open too. And if you check on my videos right below, you'll see I have a full merch store with a lot of unique prints. Rad Pack stuff, Rad Dude stuff, Born to Be Rad stuff, and with all unique designs. If you're wrestling fans or horror fans, you're going to like some of the designs you see in there. So definitely go check that out. We got a new shirt that I wore on my show the other night that got a lot of compliments, and that is Make DVDs Rad Again. That is up on the site now. So if you check out at the bottom of every one of my videos, you should see pictures of shirts. And if you just click any of them, it should take you right to the merch store. Let me see. All right, I want to continue on. I see people talking. I'm way behind, guys. I'm sorry. I will get back to it. Mayan, how are you, kid? Thank you for being here. Phantasmat says, I wonder what he meant by not hard enough. Makes no sense. What are you supposed to do? I feel like he really doesn't want to become. I think what he meant by not hard enough was probably that if you want someone to come on your show and all you do is shit on him, I mean, what are the chances that person's going to want to come on the show? I think in his head he thinks he's going to walk onto a show and it's going to be like some kind of weird ambush and make him look stupid. And why would he want to do that? I mean, this guy's like he's doing Hollywood movies. Why does he want to go on someone's YouTube show to get slandered, right? So he's probably just got his guard up. And I think that's what he probably meant by they're not trying hard enough, as in like they haven't really let up on me for me to actually, think about if it's worth me doing this or not. And that's what it's really going to come down to. It's either he's going to do it out of just to finish the story, like I always say, or he's going to be like, what the hell? I don't need to do this shit. He's going to continue to do his thing. So I think that's probably what he meant. If I had to guess. Dr. Mumbo. What's up, Gar? I do not have a Fred Savage or Harry Mandel poster on that little monster. I actually have I have a Ben Savage autograph on that poster, actually. But I've never met the other two. I've never met Fred. I never met Howie. I would love to meet both. The Howie one, it's like, I'm like, should I get it on I have a Gremlins one sheet signed by about 4 to 5 people. And I'm like, should I get him on that since it's already filled with autographs? Or should I get him on the Little Monsters poster? If I ever met Howie. He doesn't do a lot of conventions, though. He doesn't do a lot of that stuff. Fred Savage is probably never going to do one unless he's in like an old man or something. But if you like Fred Savage, you want to make sure you subscribe over to, and I'll put the banner up, to the Rad Pack Pod, which is my which is my podcast with Mel and Justin. And we have a show next week, and we are going to be talking all things Fred Savage. So if you are a Fred Savage fan, you want to hear us talk about his career, talk about what we think about his flicks and some of the favorite moments from some of his flicks. If you want to hear that, you want to head over to the Rad Pack Pod on YouTube. That's where we're going to be recording live the video version of that. And I think we're going to be doing a special members only stream following that show. So keep your eyes and ears open for that one. But yeah, that's next week. Let me see. I see you guys talking about Scout and Danielle. What up, Ila? I did not, because I have a real cool Monster Squad print coming that was like limited to like 30. And it was done by the Dude Designs, which are the people that do a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff, like New York Ninja, Miami Connection. They really, really awesome work. And I've got a lot of Monster Squad prints that looked very similar to the ones that Bottleneck was putting out. So that's why I didn't get it. I'm like, that kind of looks like 2 other prints that I already have. So I didn't get it, knowing that I am getting that Dude's Designs one, which is a little bit more rare of a print. But yeah, no, I didn't. But it is cool. It was cool. What up, man? Wet Movie 1, everybody. Wet Movie 1. OG right here. My boy Brendan. Go follow him on the tube. If you want to follow an OG on YouTube, you want to follow Wet Movie 1. He is somebody I've been watching since I was just a little guy. He saw Scout today and told her I wanted to marry her. She said she was down. Wow. Sick. I can't wait to see her again then. What's up, Brendan? Our Life in Horror. What's going on? Go check out Our Life in Horror. Check out their channel. They're doing big things over there. And it's past their bedtime, though. Our Life in Horror got to get to bed a little early. But they decided instead of going to sleep, they were going to come say what's up. So thank you so much for checking this out. Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, that's another little issue. I don't know what's going on with that, because me being friendly with Matt Ryan Tobin, who was the artist for that cover. And if you guys don't know about Matt Ryan Tobin, I had him on the show 2 weeks ago. Go check that video out. We talk all about his new book, and he's like one of the best artists out there right now. And my computers did something weird, so if my thing's messing up, please let me know. But yeah, so Fangoria is known to do this kind of stuff because I fell for it once, and I'm just curious if anybody has the answer here. So I don't actively subscribe to Fangoria. I like it, but I think it's just a little pricey. You're only getting 4 books, right? 4 magazines a year. So a couple years ago, they did a deal where it was like, oh, if you sign up today or whatever, we'll give you 4 free issues from our like vault or something. So I was like, all right, cool. So I signed up and I got an extra like 4 issues or whatever, which to me was worth the money. And then that ran out after a year, and then I didn't renew. And then they did something a couple months ago where it was for the Maxine one with the retro cover that said Fango, and it's like, I thought it was an online exclusive. It was like last day to buy this, miss out, buy it or miss out. And I was like, oh shit, I want that. So I bought it straight up from the site. And then all of a sudden it popped up at like Barnes and Noble, and everybody kept getting it. I was like, well, what the heck did I pay for shipping and shit for? Like, why did I rush to buy that on the site? They made it seem like it was like exclusive. So that kind of pissed me off. And then they showed Matt's Freddy Krueger Elm Street artwork on the new Fangoria. And I guess this next season or this next year, they're going to kind of have it really start to look more like the retro magazines again, like with that little side piece and stuff. It looks really good. And I messaged him and I was like, what's going on with that magazine? He's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if it's going to be Excite exclusive or what. So then I went on Fangoria the other day and it was like, to get this print, you got to buy the subscription and you get this for free or something. So I was like, shit. So I ended up buying the subscription again because I'm like, I think that's the only way I can get this Tobin one. So I ended up buying it. But then I heard somebody saying they think that's going to be the store exclusive. So the subscribers won't be able to get that. And the only reason I was able to get that one as an extra is because I signed up for the subscription. So that kind of pisses me off too, because I'm like, well, I could have just went to Barnes and Noble and bought that straight up if I even, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know the deal. So maybe you guys know more than me. Like, I love Fangoria, the magazine, but to me, sometimes it's a little pricey. But I just don't like all this back and forth. Like, if they're going to do site exclusives, make it a site exclusive. Like, it shouldn't be at the store. So I don't know. I'm getting it. I ordered it, but I'm just curious to know, like, is it a site exclusive and now they're long gone and out of print, or is this going to be a store exclusive on top of it? I don't know. I am not going to New York Comic Con. What's up, Backtrack? Go check out Backtrack Cinema over there. What's up, my man? Oh hell yeah, man! You were able to track down Halloween 2 Pumpkin. Yeah, I think that thing's flying. I was so happy that I snagged that really early. Yeah, that's all I want to, man. That's all I want to do. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, if you were to buy those movies straight up, like, this is a cheaper way and you get a little bit of perks. But I'm just talking about someone like me who's got them. Like, I don't need anything in that set besides Friday, but I can wait. I don't need it now. And I would rather have a steel book or something. Like, I don't know. I don't really need it. I don't really need it. I'm excited for the new Terrifier. I'm not a huge Terrifier fan. I like it, but I'm not like, it's not end all be all. Like, it is what it is for me. No, I am not going to put the memorabilia in the yard, but I'm saying even stuff that you buy for the yard is still expensive. It's still pricey. I mean, it's not cheap stuff anymore. I'm sure it does, but again, I'm waiting. Yeah, man, that's killer, dude. I wish I did. All right, I will go back. Let me see. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what it is. I think that's probably what it is. And that's the thing. Like, I can understand that. Why would anybody want to do that? Especially somebody who does not need to do it. I totally get it. What up, Bonnie? Mama Blu-ray in the house. What's going on? All right. Let me get back to day 2. Day 2 of Silver Scream Con. Okay. I got there in the afternoon. Went to dinner, lunch first. I went to lunch. I was with a buddy of mine who's somebody that I used to go to Rock and Shock with all the time. So this was huge for him too, because it brought him back to those days. So we went in. This was the day where like a lot of people came up to me, and I talked to a lot of people. So again, I apologize if I forget names. So when we first got there, I saw somebody that watches the show. I'm trying to think who I would have seen first. Efren, I think I saw first. So he came up, we took a picture. And then I ended up meeting up with a lot of people again. So I met up with Steelbook Crew for a little bit, not a lot, because we were kind of doing different things and they were kind of on the move. I did meet up with a couple of the people that knew me from the show. I did some pictures, chatted with them, chatted with PVD Horror for a bit, walked around with those guys. And I got the hoodie. But it was kind of more just like a chill day. I didn't really buy a lot. Like I said, the hoodie was expensive. Eli Roth was expensive. Then I got Cunningham. And then at the end of the night on Saturday, I got my photo op here with the Talk Scary to Me chickies. Danielle and Scout, Talk Scary to Me podcast, if you guys are not following that. So I had met them before. I had done photo ops with them before, but I thought the dual one was pretty cool. And it's got the cool like Halloween, background or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I got that. I don't do a lot of photo ops, just usually like special ones or whatever. So I got that. And that was like Saturday night. And I'm trying to think if there's any like big moments or anything that happened on Saturday. No, just the people that came up and said what's up. Like I can't even tell you how that was, because it was like, I'll go to conventions since I've started the channel and you'll get like one, maybe two people like, hey man, like I like the show, and I'll be like, oh thanks, and that's it. But I don't know why. I don't know why this convention there was so many people. I don't know if it's just a local thing, an East Coast thing. I'm not sure, but everybody who said what's up, man, like I totally appreciate it. It just makes me really step back and be like, shit, you know what? Like people are digging the content. Like people are digging the content, and seeing people excited to take a picture or to tell me, keep up the good work and I love your stuff. And, when I'm in a bad mood at work, I'll put it on and I'll laugh, whatever, like those type of things. Like it means a lot. It means like, what I'm doing is, there's other people out there that are similar and they, are having fun with the stuff. And that's all I really want, is to find like-minded people that enjoy, or I can entertain, or I can, I can tell them about things that they've wanted, or, when I talk about a lot of these old school releases and, get them to go back to eBay and be like, oh my God, I've always wanted that, or I never knew that existed. Like, informative content. And then some of these just hangouts with you guys is just really, really cool. So again, thank you again for everybody who did that. And if I can't remember names, just let me know in the comments. Hey, I saw you, or hey, I saw you, didn't say anything, or whatever. I just waved. I don't remember. But anyway, I made a decision that day that I was going to get one more autograph that wasn't really on my radar to do. And I have an autograph book here, which could be a whole nother show. But look, first one I pull up. Look at that. Boom. Hamster, baby. But this thing's full of autographs here. And I mean, this could be, like I said, a whole show. But the reason I decided to do this was it was for I had met David Howard Thornton before, so I had him sign a Terrifier thing like when Terrifier 1 was out. Now I didn't like Terrifier 1, but I still don't. But he started gaining a lot of traction back then, as like the next horror icon, blah, 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 blah. They announced the part 2. So at that point, I was like, you know what? He's at a convention. He was cheap. And I could see the ball starting to roll with the character. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get his autograph. This wasn't this weekend. This was years ago. And I'm going to get his autograph just in case this guy blows up and he's like, you know, in 4 years, he'll be charging what Robert Englund's charging, right? I just didn't want that to happen. So I ended up getting his auto years ago. Well, this kind of felt the same way here. So I was in line for Eli Roth, and next to him was Lauren Lavera from Terrifier 2. And she was chatting with people and she had a line. I looked at her prices and I was like, wow, she's cheap. I'm like, man, I'm surprised because she's pretty popular. And then with this third one coming out, I'm like, oh man. Like, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get her autograph now. Just in case. Like, just to have it in the collection. Maybe I absolutely love Terrifier 3. Again, I liked 2. I'm just not it's not Friday the 13th to me, basically. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go. She's the final girl in this franchise. I'm assuming she'll continue on. And I'm so happy I did. So I got her autograph here. You guys want to take a look at that. So very cool. She did it in green. I don't want to get the glare, but very, very cool. And the reason I say I'm happy I did it is because everybody I met this weekend was super nice. You know, there's not always the same. There's not always a lot of conventions you go to that everybody's not that they're not nice, but they give you minimal time. You know, you feel like you're being pushed through like an assembly line. And sometimes I don't have anything I want to say except I just want the damn autograph and put it in my collection and move on. Sometimes I'd want to stick around, right? So like it doesn't matter to me more or less. A lot of times if I feel like it's an assembly line, it is what it is. I'll get my stuff, go. But the interaction portion of there is kind of gone. So she, out of everybody I met, was the most personable person there that I had met that weekend. She was awesome. I mean, we were talking for a while, you know, and again, I said this to my friend that was there or whatever. I had no problem talking to her like I've known her forever and joking around with her and teasing her and all this other shit. And then I walk up to Scout and it's like I freaking can't say a word. It's freaking weird. I don't understand because Laura Lavera is a very good looking girl, and to be honest, she's a lot older than I thought she was. I thought she was like in her 20s. She's 30. I thought she was like 25 or something like that. Like I didn't realize she was 30 years old. Not saying that's old, but I thought she was younger based on her character. So we chatted for a while, and what really struck it was I had a Lost Boys shirt on, so she was talking to me about that because she's like, "Oh my god, like Lost Boys, like that's David Leone's favorite movie." Now, if anybody wants that information as an icebreaker, I guess to him, she's like, you got to walk by his table and show me a shirt. He'd freak out. Like he fucking loves Lost Boys. And I was like, oh my god, really? I was like, that's insane. Like that's like one of my favorite horror movies too. And she's like, yeah. She goes, why do you think Jason Patric's in Terrifier 3? And I said, shit, you're right. He is in Terrifier 3. And I was so stoked when I found out he was. And she's like, yeah, because she's like, because Damien's a huge fan. And I said, what? I said, I didn't see him in the trailer. Like, what is he doing in the movie? She's like, oh, I can't tell you. I was like, you can't tell me what Jason Patric's doing? She's like, no, I can't tell you his character, his role, nothing. She's like, Damien would kill me if I said anything. And I said, all right, no problem. It's cool. So we were talking a little bit. And then all of a sudden I was like, all right, I was like, thanks so much for your time. But I didn't get a picture with her. I probably should have, but it was going to cost an extra like $20 or something. But she was so nice. Like I would recommend anybody that's, especially if they're a fan of the movie, go meet her if you haven't. She was great. She was awesome. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna go walk by Damien's thing and say what's up and tell him you told me to come over here. She's like, yeah, do it. And I was like, I'm gonna tell him that you told me what Jason Patric's gonna do in the movie. And she looks at it, she's like, please don't. So I mean, she was just super cool like that, right? So I saw Damien Leone and you know said what's up and that was it. Like I didn't get an autograph or anything like that because he had a big line, so I didn't want to kind of stand there and do all that stuff. But that was kind of it. And then we went to the concert at night, and it was freaking awesome, man. Like In This Moment was there. There was a couple opening acts, but we missed them. And then Ice Nine Kills went on and freaking killed it. And it's just so cool. It was like, what an ending to a day of the convention. Like, right? What an ending. And you know what else was cool too is like when we were getting out, like I saw more people that knew me. Like I saw Mike. I saw him on Monday, on Friday, and he mentioned something about the headbands. So then I went. He saw me on Saturday after the concert with the headbands. So we took a picture, another one, and then I saw Steelbook Crew again. This girl Brianna, and she wanted a picture, so I took one there. Like I mean, it was just a cool vibe and a great way to end a convention is to be outside just listening to the music and those fireworks. It was just it was an event, guys. It was a freaking event and it was different. And it was probably one of the funnest conventions I've been to in a while. I think it was really done well. If I have to say anything negative about it, there was no physical media at all. There was not. There was one physical media thing that was of just bootlegs. That's it. So, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, what the hell? Like, where's Vinegar Syndrome? Where's Severin? Like, I go to a lot of these conventions and they all have their own tables. Nothing. Nobody. Where's Archive? Where's Orbit? I don't care who it is. There was no physical media at this convention at all, which I think was a huge bummer and could have made somebody a lot of money, especially if you're the only one. And that was like my biggest thing about what I didn't like about it. What they had, which was pretty cool, they called it the Ice Nine Kills Museum, where they had all these different sets that they had used for the music video. So if you guys saw a picture I did, they had the American Psycho set. I took a picture there. They had the front of the Elm Street house. They had a front of the Myers house. So like they had all these different sets that you could use to do photo ops with, and it was free. You just walk in and you pose in front of the different sets, and they had props that you could hold. It was really cool. Very, very cool. So I think all in all, I think it's a real good time. And I have a feeling that knowing Spencer, and he has kind of like that, when you see their shows, it's very theatrical. And I feel like he's got that brain where I think that this show is going to get more theatrical as they go. Now that they found this big building, everything seemed to have run pretty smooth as far as I could see. I think it's gonna be bigger. There's gonna be more like interactive events, kind of like that, those different sets I talked about. They had a big Funko box that you could pose inside. I mean, there was just a lot of cool stuff that was interactive where you could do with pictures and post them on socials. Like I think there's gonna be a lot more of that. And I just hope that a lot of these bigger companies that we see on Instagram and stuff, all these vendors, and want to go to these events and set up shop there. And especially like I said, the physical media aspect of it is the one big thing that I felt like was missing here. And there was space for it too. And it was a good time. And it was, I think what really made it even more special to me was the fact that every corner I turned, I knew somebody or somebody knew me. And you just felt like you were there hanging out with your friends. And it was just, a fun time. And it's such a cool time when you go to these events and you have a lot of people to kind of chit chat with and whatnot. So super fun. And everybody, like I said, who came up to me, everybody I hung out with, PVD Horror, Chris McGibbon, Steelbook Crew, Durant Cinema, Harman Joe, again, just all these people. And if I broke horror fan, I mean, anybody who I'm forgetting, I'm sorry. It's just kind of a blur now, but super cool, man. Like it was really cool. And I'm excited to kind of see where this goes. And I'm hoping to be able to hit another convention this year. It looks like I'm trying to hit Chiller in October. The problem is I'm going to Universal Horror Nights like a couple days before, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work. But anywho, that was kind of the rundown of Silver Scream Con. If you live in the Northeast, and even if you don't, I would say keep your eyes on it. Go follow it on Instagram. Keep your eyes on it for next year. And if it looks like something that is intriguing to you as far as the guests, I would recommend making a trip down there. Great area in Worcester. There's hotels there. It's really cool. Let me get back to the chat. So guys, right now it's just us. We're just going to bullshit. So if you want to hang out, chit chat, if you're in here just to hear about the convention, I think it was great. There was that one thing. I think the prices were okay for convention prices. I don't think they were absurd. I think they were pretty good, all things considered. I think this hoodie was a little expensive. The Ice Nine Kills merch was pretty expensive. I'll tell you that much. Um, I will say that it's a cool ass hoodie though. I love it, but it was pricey. And the physical media thing. Those are the big ones that I would say is if anybody's watching that has any pull, let's get Vinegar Syndrome to throw a table up. Let's get Severn to throw a table up. Let's get, somebody else to throw it. Like that was missing. I would have probably bought quite a bit from some of those companies that weekend, especially because that was the weekend that the Howling 2 dropped and all this other stuff. So if they would have had all that at the table, I would have scooped it all up. But yeah, let's chat, guys. Let's chat. I'm gonna catch up on the chat. So start loading up these questions now. We'll hang out. I can be on here for a little bit. What up, Twisted? Girl, you got me twisted. Ryan Brown took his wife to meet Ben Savage. Nice guy. He is. He was a nice guy when I met him as well. Let's see. This is a public service announcement this year at our trailer park. We will not be doing trick or treating. We caught Uncle Bill over there popping Reverend Rose tires. What the hell? Oh my god. There needs to be a horror YouTuber, blue tuber, rock and jock. But what sport would it be? Softball, bowling, oily volleyball. I don't know. I don't know if oily volleyball would fly. That would be interesting, though, wouldn't it? But I do think that this would be a pretty cool place to kind of schedule like a meetup or something with like anybody, all you guys watching, other content creators. All right, let me see what he says here. Freddy is the subscriber cover. Terrifier 3 is going to be the regular cover. All right, I'm going to get both of them. Well, I'm already getting Freddy. I definitely want that Terrifier one. That's actually a really cool cover. Really cool. And guys, I'm gonna plug Mel right now at My Killer Podcast. She's doing a giveaway on her channel for that Pennywise popcorn bucket right there. And basically, all she wants you to do is check out her video talking about a movie coming out called Little Bites. Go check out that video, but you got to watch her video to find out what she wants you to do once you're watching this Little Bites video. But both her and I, and even Justin from the Rad Pack, we're big supporters of Spider One, which is Rob Zombie's brother, also the lead singer of a band Powerman 5000. He was on the Rad Pack podcast talking about a movie called Bury the Bride with Scout Taylor Compton that came out last year. Now, he's got a third movie coming out called Little Bites, and it's starting to get a little bit of hype. And I think he's doing great with his writing. I think his movies are really written well. His first one was a movie called Allegoria, which I think was a really cool movie. Little Bites, Bury the Bride, I really liked a lot. And then Little Bites is coming out too. And I just want to make sure you guys don't sleep on it, because it is going to be one that I think people probably will enjoy. I'm hoping. I think he's got a good future in the horror genre. Imagine him and his brother teaming up and doing something one day. I mean, that would be sick. I think he's got a lot. He's got a good future here. And I'm hoping to get him back on the podcast to talk about Little Bites. And even have Chrissy come with him. But that would be so cool to talk to him again. But guys, definitely check that out. And the reason I brought that up is because it's got also a little picture. It's front and center on that Terrifier cover for Fangoria. It's got art on the front, talks about Terrifier 3. In the corner, it says Little Bites. It's got a little image. So that, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that it's already, it's already getting a little bit of a push. Long Legs subscriber cover, and that was the same issue as the Maxine regular. Sold on the Maxine cover on the site, but still, okay, I get you. I love that picture, nostalgic, by the way. Speaking of Fangoria, it's my favorite Fangoria cover of all time. I don't know if Ben's still running for Congress. I don't know. Thanks, kid. I haven't, but I want to. Don't spoil it for me, please. Hey, Dub, your channel makes me feel more part of the horror community, more connected, feel cool. Thank you. I try to do that. I really do try to do that at least once a week. I want this to be more than just I'm a guy giving you information. I want this to feel like I don't know, like that. It's a community, right? So when I put stuff out, people are like, I want to see what he has to say, and they feel involved. And that's why I like to do these ones where we're kind of just chatting back and forth. There's a topic, but we're kind of bullshitting. And is this on my thing? That's a damn hoodie. Um, and two, like if you guys haven't watched the Rad Company episode, if you don't know Jay from Sludge Central, I would watch it anyways. Um, it's a great conversation. He's somebody that's been in the game of content creating for a long time. He's someone that inspired me to do this. Um, and we have a lot of good conversation about supporting each other in the communities, and a lot of people are out there for themselves, and how important it is to kind of establish a group of friends that you guys can work off each other, and when one person succeeds, everybody succeeds. And if somebody finds one person to watch and they see you collab with somebody else, then it just works, because I think we're all putting out great information, great content, having fun. And what I said to him is, I understand being new in this, because I still look at myself as a newer channel. And it's hard to start a channel and feel like you are going to get momentum, because it's hard to find these people, like-minded people that want to watch the content, right? It's hard. There's so many people out there that you could be watching right now. The fact that there's people in here watching me right now is huge this late on a Saturday night. So, I'm on these shows that I do this, where it's kind of just more laid back. We can chat. Like, guys, tell me in here that you have a channel or an Instagram that's important, in the sense of like, hey, you're trying to run a business or whatever. I don't have a problem with pulling your thing up and saying to go check you out. And if people want to, they will. If not, they won't. But I just want people to know that, like, even if people want to use me to come in to promote their stuff, I don't care, because I think that we've got something special here. So even if they come in just to do that, I think they're going to hang around. So again, feel free in here when you're here to tell me, because sometimes I'll know people have channels and sometimes I won't. So if you want me to kind of shout it out, just again, you're here for me, I'm going to give it back to you. So again, that's just me. I like to do that every once in a while, not all the time, because again, there's usually always topics. Like, I probably won't get to the chat a lot tomorrow night when we do the show, the Bravo show with Uncle Bill, because there's so much to talk about. But tonight we can do this. What's in a name? What's up, kid? Yeah, I will definitely do an autograph show. That'll probably be one of those ones like tonight where it's like, let's bullshit about each one. 100% I'm going to do it. Mike Wolf, dude, did you look at this? Nice meeting you at the con, brother. Stand okay. All right. So I saw you say that on a thing, and I'm like, Mike Wolf? I met Mike Wolf? Did you not tell me you were Mike Wolf? If you would have said I'm Mike Wolf, I would have known right away. Did you say I'm Mike? Now, did I meet you? Oh my God. I'm trying to think where it would have been. Because there was one point I was like kind of in around like where the autographs were, and like two people came up to me, and then somebody else kind of was waiting, and then I turned them and I was talking to PVD. There was like a lot of people there, and I was kind of just trying to talk to everybody. Or did I meet you did I meet you first and you said your friend watches the show too, and we didn't take a picture, we just kind of said what's up? Was that you? I'm sorry, by the way. I'm just trying to think of who it was. But if you would have said I'm Mike Wolf, I would have remembered, because you found me when I was doing that show at PVD Horror. And you know what I will say? This is the craziest part of the whole thing. I signed an autograph. Somebody came in with a picture of me to sign, because they were looking for me. It was insanity. I don't know what I gotta, if that's gonna be something, I gotta work on some kind of signature, because I scrabbled my name on there. I didn't know what to write. Do I write Garrett? Do I write Born to be Rad? I don't know. So it was pretty humbling, though, I'll tell you that much. It's wildness. But yeah, first time. I don't know if Clint Howard's in Terrifier 3. I have no idea. Oh, so I assume Scratch has seen it. Oh, I forgot that people have already seen this shit. Don't say anything to me, but I'm excited for Jason Patrick. Of course I said that. Of course I said I was excited to hang out with you. I already said that. 100%. Of course I gave you a little shout ski. It'd be cool to take Silver Cruise on the road. Yeah, I mean, they may, but I think I think it's at the same time they may not, because the big reason it works is because they're from here, so it's like they're doing it in their hometown, and like I said before, Spencer was such a staple at Rock and Shock way before his band was a thing, that I think he's kind of trying to bring it back, you know, for himself too. But definitely, it would be cool if they did. But I just have a feeling it's probably just kind of one of those things that they've been on tour and working on albums and stuff. And I think that they're probably going to stay where they are. Just there's so much going on, and I did hear that they're thinking about doing like some kind of like movie short, some kind of like movie. Because if you watch their videos, it's all like one big movie. I think they're going to try to put a DVD out kind of with everything on there or something like that. So I know they got a lot of stuff going through. And that's the thing there. And that I got to, you know, I got to hand it to them. Like they get it. Like they're figuring this shit out. They do have a lot of merch. And again, they're marketing machines, those guys. And if you want to see me and Brian tag team, we're gonna be on Team Vinegar Syndrome coming up on Tuesday on Mega Movie Mike's channel, and you can watch us as a Team Vinegar Syndrome go against Team Second Sight with Mid Level Media. So check that out, Brian. I'm gonna shoot you a message later. I expect headbands on all of us, so find it. Riverman, what's up, man? I interviewed Scout about 10 years ago to con. Seems like the guests don't want to do interviews anymore. She seemed great. When I talked to her, she seemed cool, but yeah, like I don't think they do. I don't think they do. It's not the same anymore, and it could be 100 different reasons. My main two reasons is because they're probably getting paid to do it now. So to do anything for free, and I'm not saying that they just want the money, but I mean, it's their job, right? So I get it. I kind of get it. But at the same time, like if you want to promote a movie and it's going to help out your career, then you have to do some of this free work. So it's one of two things, right? Like if to interview someone to promote a project, I think it's kind of part of the gig. Like they should be willing to do that, because like the more eyes and ears I can get on my product, the better it's going to be for me as an actor or director or writer or whatever it is. To me, I feel like that's part of like putting something out. Like you want to promote it, you want the press, you want this. If it's just like, can you come on my show and talk about your career? I get it. Some people are going to be like, no, because I'm super busy and I've got a lot of shit going on. And, you know, if you want to do this, you're going to make it worth my time. That I get. But you're right. It's not like it was for sure, but that's sick, dude. Talking to Scout on this platform is something it would be a huge goal for me. I actually met a guy today who apparently has a good in with the show and the vendors and such. I had a similar discussion with him about having more vendors. He's going to pass it along. Yeah, I think they need more vendors, especially physical media stuff. There's none. And that's the thing. Like if Vinegar Syndrome was there, just them, they would have cleaned house because there's no competition there. The headband has a personality of its own. Give it to its own section in the show. Yeah, for 100%. I will say we do have a lot of conventions. I will say that we're kind of spoiled to a point where like there was one this weekend that I didn't go to, Connecticut Horror Fest. Great lineup, but I'm like, I just did Silver Scream last weekend. Then Terracon's coming, and then there's another one coming too. But actually, speaking of Brian Goes Blue, because I know he's in Florida. Dude, listen to this. So I'm going to Florida. I'm landing in Orlando the weekend of Spooky Empire. You don't know how bad I'm going to try to finagle myself to get there. Depends on when I fly in. I either fly in Friday or Saturday to get there one day for just the day. I can't say I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try. So I'm not sure if that's one that you go to, but I was looking at it today and I was like, oh my God, that's like the weekend I fly in. So I don't know, man. That would be pretty sick though if I can get there. Let me know if you go to that one. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't have a physical media copy yet. I'm shocked. I'm shocked it does not. Um, what up, David? I know you said you're not a big fan of Trick or Treat Studios Gizmo that you got, but you'd consider getting one of the new ones from the second one. I'm not gonna get one from the second movie until I see what it looks like. I need to see reviews. I need to see it in person. I will not buy that thing unless I see it. If it's like that Gizmo that I have up there, this one, I will buy them. If it's like the ones that they sent us last time, absolutely not. Hard films. I wish I could have asked Eli Roth how's one to get 4Ks. Never part two, never a good transfer from DVD to Blu-ray. Hostel 1 is my favorite Roth movie. So I need to rewatch it. Yeah, it doesn't have 4K, right? I'm assuming it will. I mean, to me, that seems like something even like Scream Factory would get. Um, I heard about that today. Interesting. A lot of people have that issue. I get it. I just say do it. Like you just got to do it, and you may feel weird about it, but I think the more you do it, the better you get. It's funny because I never was nervous about doing it once I started. I was not uncomfortable in front of the camera. It was a little weird at first talking to nobody. Coming up with content was hard at first, but when I did, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a good job," right? I go back and watch some of my first videos, horrendous, awful. And I was like, "What the hell was I doing?" Like, just everything just wasn't right. And it takes time. It takes time. I've only been doing this. I haven't. It's not even. It's almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in like on Halloween or something like that, or like the 30th or the 29th or whatever. So I'm almost on 4 years. But you figure it out. You figure it out. I'm telling you, you guys being here right now at this time of night, you guys watching the vids, commenting on the vids, saying hi to me in public, like all this stuff, like it makes it all worth it. And you want to get better and you want to evolve and you want to progress and you want to do bigger things and cooler things. Like it just makes you want to take things to the next level. And like I said, I said this before. If you've been following me for the last year, you know that this behind me, this didn't exist. I was in a different area, which I'm not going to say it was bad. It was actually a decent setup, but like to evolve the channel and to look more professional, to get more opportunity and have people come on that maybe wouldn't have come on before or whatever. I wanted it to look special. I wanted it to look legit. This is a full studio now. The door is locked. I'm in here. I'm, focused on this. Before I was at the back end of like a living room area. So I mean, it's just things evolve as you start seeing that it's, people are enjoying the stuff and whatnot. So again, I would tell anybody if they want to do it, just do it and you'll work the kinks out as you go. Um, I've actually never picked up a Scream magazine. I do. It's my favorite, and it's crazy. I love Fangoria just for the nostalgia aspect of it, but my favorite is Horror Hound. It always was. I think the fact that they do the movie stuff, but then they do that whole like retrospective on collectibles and toys for specific movies, like that gets me every time. Like if I go in there and it's like, oh, buy this issue, and we're going to talk about every Fright Night collectible that's ever existed, I'm buying it because then I look at it, I say, oh, I have this, I want this, I didn't know this existed. I love that stuff. I think I remember you with a buddy, right? You with a buddy. Oh yeah, that was you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You got to tell me the wolf. You got to say wolf. Wolf. Sam Wolf. It's a book by Mike Wolf. Correct. If you said I am Mike Wolf and did wolf sounds, I would have remembered you. I remembered you. I just didn't remember your name. So thank you again. I appreciate you guys coming out to me. We will be at Spooky Empire all weekend vlogging there as well. The main convention we never miss. Great lineup this year. What night are you going to Horror Horror Nights? I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, like the 16th, 17th. I can let you know. I can let you know. Man, I might now. I want it. Um, shit. I didn't is that the one where you can hang him from his feet? I didn't see the box. It looks like an oversized VHS. Son of a I'm gonna have to get unless it's sold. If it's not sold out, I'm gonna probably get it. I got to. The problem is I don't know where to put it. But I can't let that slide. I mean, they don't do a lot of Lost Boys stuff. That's the thing. So when they do, I've got to jump on it. What's up, Mike? What's up, Nick? I have not heard about a movie called Halloween at Aunt Ethel's. I have not. Um, is is it good? I don't know what to say. But guys, we've been on a long time. 90 minutes tonight. I want to thank everybody who's hanging out with me. You guys killed it. Everybody's watching live. Thank you for hanging with me. Everybody who's checking this in the replay, thank you. Let me know, like I said, down below, if in the comments, if you're watching this and you did see me, talk to me at Silver Scream. I appreciate you. Leave it down in the comments below if I did not shout you out. And then, let me know what you think about the Silver Scream. Were you there? If you were there, please let me know so we can maybe meet up next time. That'd be super sick. So, guys, I have a lot of videos right now that you might not have checked out. So go back in my in the video library, check them out. Tomorrow we go live at 10 p.m. for the Bravo show. So this is part 2. Make sure you check out part 1. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. Hit those notifications so you know every time I go live. And this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad. Follow me on all social media platforms. And like always, stay